everyone. Welcome back to my pod. Today I have Sara Cunningham with me. Hi, Sara. How's it going?
Oh, hi. How are you? I'm so glad to be here and thanks for the invitation.
Oh, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you have not heard of Sara Cunningham, Sara offers to be a stand-in mom at gay weddings when their parents refuses to attend. Sara, that is awesome. The world, we are very lucky to have you.
Well, thank you. I'm lucky to be here.
Sara, okay, if you guys don't know also, Sara is the founder of a wonderful nonprofit organization called Free Mom Hugs. As you can see, her cool shirt says Free Mom Hugs.
Yep.
Yep, there it is. It's so cute. And she is the author of a wonderful book called How We Sleep at Night, A Mother's Memoir. So the stand-in thing started with Facebook. It was just a PSA, right? And you posted,
Yes.
which I read, you posted it out of frustration, and the post said, if you need a mom to stand in on your next same-sex wedding because your biological mom won't, call me. I'm here. I'll be your biggest fan, and I'll even bring the bubbles.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Um, and I didn't anticipate the reaction that would get worldwide, and it certainly has changed everything in my life and in the mission of Free Mom Hugs. But I have to say, first of all, Jan, thank you for the invitation here because you're a small platform, but with a mighty reach. I've watched your last two podcasts, Finding Your Voice and Live and Love. And I'm telling you, you really are onto something, and you're talking about what people want to hear. So when you invited me, I said, absolutely, I want to be here because you have a demographic that maybe I haven't been able to share with yet. So thank you for the platform here. I know it took a little bit to ask me, but I admire your tenacity and your dedication to what you do because we're all in this together and it's about sharing stories. And so together we're making the world better for everyone. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you so much. And thank you again. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. There you have it. Sara Cunningham. She's an angel. Okay, so Sara, this post went viral, and then you had actually a lot of requests for a standing mom. Is that right?
Yes, yes. The post went viral, and I actually had to Google what going viral meant, and because I had no concept of that. And then it's something that I posted late at night, and by the next morning, I was hearing from people all over the world saying that they wanted to stand in too. And what that told me is that people everywhere want to do something. Some people need permission, some people need a platform, and it was just allowing that space for people to say and chime in, I'm with you. I understand. I'm I'm want to stand in too. And at that time, very little people knew about the Free Mom Hugs chapter in Oklahoma City. It was just a small local chapter just kind of doing things here locally. I'm in Oklahoma City now, born and raised here. Um, and so as that began to go viral, then people started finding out about Free Mom Hugs because really the stand in part of what we do is very little, fortunately, because um, it's just something that we're happy to do, but it's bittersweet because we're happy to be there. We want to be there for this beautiful couple, but at the same time, we're hoping that the parents will come through. But it is really very little of what we do as far as the work of Free Mom Hugs.
Right. How many weddings do you think you've been to, and how many surrogate families do you have out there?
Well, I don't know how many families because I learned the statement of or the phrase uh, chosen family with being involved in the community who've been alienated from their families, from their church homes, and from many parts of society. There's a chosen family there. It's a camaraderie, and it's something that is oftentimes, I mean, just as equally, if not more profound than a blood relation. And it's just a common bond. And I see it in mothers with gay children. I see a camaraderie there in a private online Facebook group. There's just a camaraderie where I know that I would be safe in their home my child would be safe in their home and vice versa. Now, as far as how many, I also officiate weddings and do the stand in, and there's probably been, I've officiated about between 15 to 20 weddings, and I've probably stood in for about maybe 8 or 10. So that'll give you kind of a percentage. I just started this officiating weddings in 2016, and I think the numbers would be much more if we weren't in the era of COVID. It really has rearranged a lot of people's wedding plans, and unfortunately, but we're hopeful that things will turn around soon.
Yes, things will turn around and we'll get back to business.
Yes.
Well, okay, so first, and for those who don't know as well, your journey to come to a place of acceptance was not overnight, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
No, it was not overnight. It was a process. And I have two children. For those of you who may not know, I have two boys, a straight son and a gay son. And my youngest son tried his whole life to have a conversation with me about how he felt different, about how he was being treated different, about how he was attracted to same sex, other boys. And we raised our children in a conservative mainstream evangelical church who absorbed this idea that homosexuality is wrong, it's unforgivable by the God that we serve, and it just crossed the line of unforgivable sin. So when my son took a stand as a gay man when he turned 21, he said, "Mom, I met someone and I want you to be okay about it." That was the day that he faced his biggest fear, which was probably me, because I wasn't having it. I thought it was a phase. I manipulated the conversation. I burned the sage in his room. I didn't think that God would allow my son to be gay. And it sounds absurd to say that now, but at that time in my life, we knew the scriptures. We were raising our children in this faith that said homosexuality was wrong. So when my son took that stand as a gay man, I knew that I had to face reality that my son's gay. And so, as I was hearing lessons in the evangelical mainstream conservative church that homosexuality equated to bestiality or uh, child molestation, I thought, that's not my son. And I thought that something bad had to happen to my son to make him gay. And so it was a whole process of unlearning and reconciling my faith that this God of ultimate love and grace would all of a sudden be offended by my son, and it just never, I never could reconcile that. So I had to re-examine everything that I believed, and I got educated on things like the history of human sexuality, on science and evidence, and hearing from gay Christians. And that convinced me that homosexuality is not wrong, that I do believe that homosexuality is a gift from God and a beautiful dynamic to this world, a gift to this world. And so the mission of Free Mom Hugs has, transformed into this mission of equipping the world to celebrate the gay community. And that's through being visible, being offering educational resources and ultimately conversations, because I know conversations and stories like this, platforms like this, they help people to understand people who may be different than them or families that are like them. And so, because at the time, I thought I was the only mother with a gay kid in Oklahoma because
Yeah,
we didn't talk about it. So,
oh, it's
anyway,
really
it was a process for sure.
well, yeah, I read that it took years and you also fell into a depression
Yes.
until one day your son just came to you. I think I read he said something kind of like, "Mom, I need you to suck it up because I've been your son for 21 years and I need you to be my mom." Something along the lines of that. And that kind of
That's it. Yep.
it up and you're kind of like, okay, I got to get it together. I have
Yeah,
to.
it was definitely a reality check. I had pivotal moments like that, and it was a reality check. Like, you know what? He's right. I need to stand up and be his mom. And but it was a journey, just like it took him time to evaluate and reconcile his faith. And I have a saying on my Facebook page that no one has searched God, the scriptures, or themselves more than the gay Christian or their mother. And it is a process, but one that's as necessary. But I will say that it doesn't have to be a difficult time for families, and that's what we're trying to change, the social norm where it's not devastation, it's not um, a devastation to a family or the community. It doesn't have to be. It could be a cause for real celebration.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I think I love that you're sharing your story because I know a lot of parents, sometimes their first reaction isn't 100% acceptance. And I feel like maybe they harbor a lot of guilt. And so I think hearing your story of you really, and how you are now, it's just, you're not even the same person you were, before. But I think it brings people comfort and more, it probably gives them a space to be more understanding, just because you as well, you came from a place of your Christian beliefs were really on the conservatives end.
Yes.
And for you to come here, and I think a lot of people wrestle with that a lot, religion and also understanding that community.
hmm Yeah, it's the biggest obstacle. I believe that the challenges facing the gay community and even that from history is because of religion. And I I love faith. I love walking in faith. I love participating in the faith. I love the community of believers. But there's something that's been horribly miscommunicated, misinterpreted, and misunderstood in the scriptures that have been used to condemn the gay community. And that's where we have got to change the message that we're hearing from the pulpit, because until then, we're not going to see a change in the world around us. For example, conversion therapy is a type of practice, therapy, or prayer that would try to change a gay person into a straight person. It's damaging, it's deadly, and until we hear a different message from the pulpit, we're not going to see a change in the world around us, because as long as there's any type or any amount of homophobia, transphobia, there will be a form of conversion therapy. And so that's what we're trying to change. And all that to say, it's religion based, and people need. I felt like I needed permission to search the matter out, and when I did that, that's where I got educated. And there's power in education. There's power in knowing history and science and evidence and testimonies.
And I like that. I also love that you're also able to show that you can be Christian, but also
Yes.
you can be gay. Like, they don't have to be separate, and they're not two separate worlds. I think they've been teaching us that it is.
hmm Yeah, and it's like just to the same degree that at one point I thought that if my son is really going to hell for being gay, then I need to fight for him like my hair's on fire. And I prayed and I fasted and I burned the sage, but it never reconciled with a loving God and with um, the scriptures that again condemned my son. So to the same degree as I got educated and aware of what was happening and what's happened and still happening, it's like I'm fighting for my son. Like my hair is on fire. So to the same degree, it's like an epiphany. And because I'm accountable to what I know now. See.
Yeah. And anyone out there that's listening who you're not religious, that's okay. I think what I love about this too is it's that, faith aside, if you're not a religious person, I think what it comes down to is just it's about love. That's it. Love. That's what it's about. So
Yeah, it's easy to say. I didn't think I had a problem with people being gay, even where I was then, until it was my son. Then I had to reconcile with it. Anyway.
no, of course. So you in 2014, you were shocked to learn that there was a high rate of suicide among young LGBTQ people, and that's how you became. Would you say like an accidental activist, or
Yes, it wasn't until 2014 when I started, searching the matter out that I realized that my gay son has more right, or my straight son has more rights than my gay son. The suicide, self-harm, at-risk behavior among the gay community is 40% more than the straight percent, and it's even more so for the transgender community. And even though my son is not transgender, I have a real heart for the transgender community. Um, there's more laws now that affect the transgender community than ever in time. And the fact that, again, my straight son has more rights than my gay son, it it just speaks to the what's been happening in the world and the challenges that we face and the changes that need to be made.
Yeah. So, and you said well, I read in 2015 you went to your first gay parade,
Hmm.
and that's when you made your homemade button, Free Mom Hugs, and you offered free hugs to basically anyone who made eye contact with you. And I read about a very special first hug that you had with a young lady, and please, can you tell us about that first hug that you gave?
Yes. I did. I offered hugs to anyone who made eye contact with me, and the first person to approach me was a beautiful young girl. And as we embraced, she whispered in my ear that it had been 4 years since she got a hug from her mom because she's a lesbian. And I whispered something back like, "Well, I'm a mom. Here's a hug, and I'm not letting go until you do." And that day I went home covered from head to toe with glitter, but I also had real horror stories ringing in my ear about those who've been alienated and separated from their families, living out of their cars, and just being destitute. And again, the at risk self harm behavior, having to couch surf in strangers' homes, it was just devastating. And those stories were at the forefront of my mind, and I knew something had to be done. And I was accountable to those those things. I will never be able to erase that, her face, her voice, that moment. I know exactly where I was standing, and I will never forget it. And that's the power of sharing your story. Mm.
I think, well, I know you are a light of hope for so many.
Mm.
I think it is. I think I also read something that I think you had mentioned that a transgender teen who had reached out to you and said that COVID, staying at home in the, the shutdown had been really hard because he's staying at home. And correct me if I'm wrong, he's staying home with parents who are not supportive of his sexuality. And it was really hard emotionally, mentally, and the only thing that kept him going was knowing that he would meet you one day.
Yes.
That
Well,
is,
yeah, that was yeah, and I'm still in contact with that person even today. And but it is a story that we hear all too often in the light of Free Mom Hugs. We have a national Facebook page, and we each chapter will have their own Facebook page for each state. But it's often there that we hear from individuals who that's the only source of, excuse me, where they can be themselves, where they can receive encouragement is in those threads. Like we had one individual say recently that on the Free Mom Hugs channel or Facebook page, that's the only place where they could, just share as their authentic selves. And you have all our followers. I think, I don't know, I think we might be up to 30,000, maybe even more. I don't even know. Maybe scratch that, but I don't know. It's growing. But you have all these followers who would just, thread and encourage that individual. And it's life giving. People say there's, you know, social media has such negativity, but no, I disagree completely. I have seen the power of social media and the power of your words and encouragement and connection, and especially in the time of COVID, especially in the time of COVID, that there's a connection that's life giving, it's empowering and lasting. And if it's in the form of a hug, there's many ways to hug. And in this case, it's through the power of social media.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too.
So, your book, How We Sleep at Night, and Mother's Memoir is about basically your raw feelings and your journey on how you came to acceptance of your son's sexuality. How, I mean, what was it like writing that book for you? What were some of the challenges that you had?
Well, the first challenge is I've never even thought about writing anything in my life. I have a 10th grade education, and you realize how limited your vocabulary is. Um, and if you would have told me I would have written a book, I never journaled, I never kept a diary. It's something about this time of our lives. There were so many pivotal moments. I thought, I want to remember this. So I just started writing it out, never even imagining it to become a book. And then there's a program on Amazon called Create Space, and it allows you to just put in a book form. And I just wrote it for myself, or maybe, at this time I was meeting other moms like me with our same story. And then all of a sudden, once it was done, it's like you push that green button and boom, it was out on Amazon. I had no idea, really, the concept of that. It's self published, 10th grade education. Um, and I had no idea the reaction that I would get. It was received so well, not only by the community, but from their parents. And I hear from people all over the world saying it doesn't change who I am, but it helps me see my mother's perspective.
Yes.
And oftentimes, a member of the community will buy the book and they'll leave it on the coffee table in hopes their mom will pick it up. Or they'll reach out to me and say, "Would you please send my mom your book?" Just, I just am still blown away how it resonates. But it's a story that is it, it belongs to hundreds and thousands of families, and I think that's why it just resonates so well.
Yeah, I like that it's just like a simple read, you know? Yeah, it's so, I mean, it's so, I think it's helpful, you're right, for the child going through their process and the parent. I think it shares both perspectives and gives a insight of understanding on both things. So
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Well, I didn't leave anything out. I mean, there's things that have changed in my thinking, like as far as understanding scripture and in my faith walk, and so there's things like that. And I'm in the midst of I have a literary agent now, and we're writing a second book because in the first book, Free Mom Hugs was not even on the radar.
Mhm.
The first book ended where my husband and I were standing with Parker at the Pride Festival. And then it was the next year that I made that homemade button. So Free Mom Hugs wasn't even on my radar then. I was just getting plugged into the community and learning about, everything that, was going on in the world around me. So the second book will be something I'm thinking about calling it Beyond the Hug. And it
Oh,
will talk about how Free Mom Hugs got started, what we've been doing, and the experiences along the way, because there've been many.
when will that be coming out? Like,
Oh,
rough,
honey, yeah, we're just starting it. We're
on,
just starting it. Yeah.
on the
So
radar for sure.
we just got an agent and we're just working through the bones of it now. But, hopefully it'll be, you know, soon. I
Well,
don't know.
this
Once
is
we
the
sit down,
work.
and it's time, I had a lot more time on my hands then than I do now. So,
Well, I'm just happy to hear that something is in the works because I
yeah,
think whatever you need to say, I think we need to hear it.
yeah,
How
I think so.
how proud are you of your son? And I couldn't imagine how proud your son is of you and how far your relationship has come. What is that like?
Well, I think my family as a whole has always been supportive. I have two children, and my husband, of course, have been nothing but supportive in everything that I've set my heart and hand to. And but yeah, we're all surprised at the reach that it's had, and it's been wonderful to see. Not only um, just for myself, but for the nonprofit as a whole. To see other moms in other states, we not recreating the wheel, but just being that loving presence in the lives. They represent me. I represent them. You know what I mean? It's just I might be the face of it now, but I'm not the last mom. I'm
Right.
not the first mom, but you know what I mean. It's just
Yeah.
the ripple effect of this has
Yeah.
just been wonderful to see.
Yeah. Your book is on Amazon. Is there any other place that people could find your book?
Well, I believe Barnes and Nobles. It should be available. We're trying to get it in most libraries. Um,
If you
yeah,
can, I
I
would
mean,
love audiobooks. I love audiobooks.
yeah, we're working on that too. We're working on that too. The literary agent, that was one thing she said, you have to get it in. So we're working on it.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks.
Okay, another cool thing that came out of the book is you have a partnership with Jamie Lee Curtis, who bought the rights to your book, and a movie is going to be released soon. And Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be playing you. How cool is that?
I know. Pinch me, pinch me. I know. I can't believe it myself. But the post that we started talking about in the beginning of our conversation that went viral,
Uh-huh.
well, that caught the attention of Jamie Lee Curtis. And she knew nothing about the book at the time of that posting, of course. She knew nothing, about me. But after she reached out to me after that social media post and said she was interested in, intrigued with what brought that on, what inspired that post. And we got to talking, and then she found out about the book and she read it and she acquired the rights. We have a green light, and honestly, if it wasn't for COVID, the movie would have been made and out already. But COVID just put a setback in everything. Um, but she's still committed to the project. It will happen. It's just time and COVID.
Well, I'm excited for that too. And COVID set a lot of things back, but as long as it's in the work and we have a green light, that's all.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. I know it will reach a demographic, much like your podcast. But we also have another project in the works that a lot of people may not know about. Is a Mama Bear documentary, and this is an independent. It's an independent film by director Darisha Kai, and it's in the editing stages. It will come out. They're anticipating this fall, so we can watch for that. It's a documentary about moms like me who are just doing what they can to make their part of the world safe for their kids. And they followed Kimberly Shopley, who has a transgender child, and several other moms who are just really making a huge impact where they are. So that's exciting, and it will be out at some point.
You said, was it on Netflix?
No, this is an independent film. It will be on the independent film circuit. Maybe probably out on PBS eventually. So what I love is that there'll be just different demographics. So hopefully reach moms like me then. See.
Awesome. Okay. Well, last but not least, the free mom hugs, we've been talking about it. But again, your mission is to empower the world to celebrate the LGBTQ community through visibility, education, and conversation. And I love that it says, yes, we still give hugs.
Give hugs.
And, just to mention, like you said, hugs are just not one way. We're giving hugs through the internet, by connecting with each other. So I love that.
Yeah, we've had to get creative with COVID. We have the care packages that we send out. We have national pride rides where we just ride through the gay districts, encouraging and doing whatever we can to just send a message that we're still here. We're not going anywhere. And, hugs can wait, but love continues, so that's the goal.
I love that. So for anyone who's interested in learning more, what type of resources can they find on the Free Mom Hugs website?
Yes, at freemomhugs.org, you can find resources, whatever you need. And the reality is, whether it's through the Free Mom Hugs website or not, there's so many resources out there now to not have a better understanding on this. But yes, you can find what you need at the freemomhugs.org. You can find merchandise. We have shirts that say Free Mom Hugs. We have logos. Whatever you need. And what I love about the logo is that, number one, it's recognized worldwide. Number two, it sends a message to the community, wherever you are. Even if you can't use words, that I'm here for you. I'm an ally, and you matter, and we're here. So I love our logo, and I love the message that comes with it.
I love that you said it's a universal understanding. Like, if you see someone rocking the gear, you're like, I see you. Me too.
Yeah, me too. And and the reality is, you can also give donations. We are a nonprofit. We depend on donations. We've had some great sponsorships, but those are short-term giving. So in a time of COVID, especially, we could use some donors. So if you're looking for something to give a tax-free donation to, please consider Free Mom Hugs.
Where can parents sign up if they want to volunteer to be a standing parent?
Mhm. Yeah, the best thing is to go to your social media page and look for Free Mom Hugs your state. And if
Oh,
you if you can find it at the website too. If you go to freemomhugs.org, you can find your chapter for your state. And if you like and follow that Facebook page, that will keep you in the loop of everything happening where you are. So as the country reopens, which I hope will be soon,
yeah.
then you can just get plugged in. And but we do ask that any volunteer, that it is required that you are fully affirming, and that means that you will celebrate the community and honor same-sex marriage as holy. That's affirming, and that's what it means to be affirming, and that's what we require out of every chapter leader and every volunteer. If you're there for an ulterior motive, don't do it.
That's the same
Don't
if
do it.
you're looking for a parent too. You just go onto your chapter, like just Free Mom Hugs and wherever what state you're in. If they want,
Yep.
if they're looking
Yeah,
to.
they can go to freemomhugs.org, and there's a button there that says find your chapter, and you just look up your state, and that should connect you to the social media page.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you have so much going on with the Free Mom Hugs, the books, and just being an advocate. What do you like to do on your free time? Who is Sarah Cunningham?
Well, free time is few and far between some days, some weeks, especially during Pride. But anything that involves my family, that's what I want to do. And I have a long time dream to walk across America, like to actually train and to walk across America. And I don't know if I'll do it this side of heaven, but it's something that I think about a lot. So maybe we can work something out.
Oh, wow. That is very cool. Any last words for anyone listening who is struggling with their feelings and wrestling with, what their
Yeah. To anyone listening, if you're a parent or a guardian and you have a child or even an adult, who you love and who's in your life trying to have this conversation with you, I want to encourage you that these individuals are sharing the most tender, intimate parts of their life with you, to consider it, to acknowledge it, and ultimately to celebrate it as a wonderful dynamic to your family, to your social circle, if it's a friend, and to just surround yourself with people who will support you and love you. And to the community, you are beautiful. In some ways, you are misunderstood. And please know that you have millions of moms and dads and friends and allies who love you, who are celebrating you and cheering you on in everything that that you do. And if you don't have those people in your life, then you find them, because we're here. We're here. And thank you, Jen, for doing what you do and offering a platform for this, because together that means that we're making the world better for everyone. So thank you.
So there you have it, Miss Sarah Cunningham, everybody. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing your time with me. Where can people find out more about you on social media and your foundation? We said Facebook,
Yep.
Instagram, what else?
We're on Twitter, Instagram, any social media. We've even started a YouTube channel. We've given encouraging educational videos there. And yeah, we're all over social media. And if you get plugged into your chapter, that'll keep you posted on everything happening. So yeah,
Awesome.
lots of ways.
Okay, guys, please check out Sarah, her book, and her amazing foundation. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you guys haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, and share the pod. See you next time. Bye.